This one is 4 times 7 6 divided by 7. And we got it should follow the order of operations PEMDAS. So we start with parentheses, then we do exponents, then multiply or divide from left to right, then add or subtract. So what operations have we got going on here? Multiply and divide, right? All right. Multiply and then divide. So these are kind of the same order of importance, and we always go from left to right. So going from left to right and multiplication and division are the same order of importance. What should we do first? All right, so you can multiply. Now, how about write this 4 as a fraction? What would it look like? 4 over 1. Good. And should we just multiply to get 28 over 6, or is there a better way?
Wouldn't 4 and 6 be broken down?
Yeah, 4 and 6 can be broken down. You can cross cancel. 2 into 4 goes twice. 2 into 6 goes 3 times. Right. So can anything else cross cancel with the top and bottom?
No.
Okay. So we get 2 times 7, 14, over 1 times 3, 3, divided by 7, right? Okay, cool. So this is one way. There's actually another way of doing this, and I'll go over that afterwards. But this is one way of doing it. So if I divide by 7, how can I deal with that, dividing by 7?
First you put the 7 over 1.
Right, write 7 as a fraction. 7 is the same thing as 7 over 1. Now if I divide by 7 over 1, that's the same thing as multiplying by 1/7. Yep. Flip and multiply, same thing. Right. Why is that? Can you give me an easy example of why that's the case?
I know
You're supposed to do it. That was the teacher said. How about this? What's 10 divided by 2?
I can't see your paper.
What? Oh, how about this? What's 10 divided by 2?
5.
Okay. Convert 10 into a fraction and we get what? 10 over 1. And what's 2 as a fraction?
2 over 1.
So 10 divided by 2 is just like 10 over 1 divided by 2 over 1. What happens when I divide by 2 over 1 and I go ahead and multiply by 1/2 because the teacher said, right? So I get 10 over 1 times 1/2, right? So that's 10 times 1/2. What is 10 halves anyway? Look, here's a pizza. Let's split it into half. How many halves do I have?
2.
2. Here's another one. How many halves do I have now?
4.
4. So that's 4 halves. 4 halves made 2, right? How many halves do I have now?
6.
6 halves make what? 3 whole pizzas. 6, yeah. 6, so you know. Let's see. Now I've got how many halves? 8 halves. So 8 halves make what? 4. Now I've got how many halves? 10 halves. So 10 times a half equals what? 5. Okay, so 10 divided by 2 is equal to 5. And 10 times a half equals 5, right? So do you agree with me that dividing by 2 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/2? Isn't it? Dividing by 2 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/2, isn't it? Dividing by 2 over 1 is the same thing as multiplying by 1 over 2. So that's an easy example to help you understand why you're flipping and multiplying.
That makes sense.
Right. Dividing by 7 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/7. Right? Because look at it this way. Look at it this way. What's 1/7 of 70? 1/7 times 70 is what? 10. If you got a 7th of 70, what's 70 divided by 7? 10. So isn't dividing by 7 the same thing as multiplying by 1/7? Like if I divide by 7, that's the same thing as multiplying by 1/7. Right. So there's some simple examples to try to understand that principle. So we end up with 14/3 times 1/7. Now what can we do now? All right, 7 into 7 goes once, 7 into 14 goes twice. So yeah, it's always easier to cross cancel first and then get the answer. Anything else to cross cancel here? No. So we get 2 times 1 is 2, and 3 times 1 is 3. Now, just because I can't resist, there is another way, folks, because we could have started out with, okay, 4/1 times 7/6, and see how that was dividing by 7? At the very beginning, from the outset, I could have done this. That's 7/1, and just multiply, turn that division into multiply by 1/7. And make it all a big party of multiplying fractions. Now what cross cancels?
7 and 7.
Yeah. What else? Right. 4 and 6. 2 into 4 goes twice. 2 into 6 goes 3 times. 2 times 1 times 1 gives what on the top?
2.
And 1 times 3 times 1 on the bottom gives? 3. So that's another way. That would have been fine. Yeah. In this case, we can just turn that division into multiply by the reciprocal and keep going, right? But, yeah.